All right, you got to see this. This is super cool. Normally I have a product of the day, but I'm telling you, this is full of products of the day. I mean, I just love it. I've been wanting to film this video for so long, and I just put it off and put it off, but don't worry, I'm back filming videos. I hope you missed me. Maybe you didn't notice I was gone. I moved again to another state. Okay, so what we have here are binders, obviously. So so I'm gonna show you through one. This is for my, anywhere from grade 1 to grade 3. So I'm gonna show you through that, and then I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna explain about the system a bit more and some general tips information. Then I'll show you through the younger child, which could be preschool, kindergarten, grade 1, around that age, okay? So let's look through, so let's open it up. Obviously different color for different kids. So the first thing is this. So I'll tell you why I use it in the journal or the binder thing. I'll tell you why in a bit. So it's got 2 markers here, and this is the 100 days challenge. So everything is in these pockets. The first thing I want to do is I want to talk to them about how they're feeling today. So you'll notice there's some drawing on it because I did go through and wipe it, and then it got for the video, and then we used it again. Okay, so these are the problem solving wheel, which is basically anything I put in here is the summary of something or something I want them to learn and memorize, because we quickly go through it every day and it takes like 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes to go through. It doesn't take long. So these are things, a problem solving wheel, if you have a problem that you can do, okay? Most of this stuff I collected free. If there's anything I paid for, I will let you know. This is the Lord's Prayer. Once we have it memorized, I take it out. Or I might keep that in just so that we can say it together. The grace, we are learning grace. This is something I want them to repeat every day. So I have that in there. This is left and right. So I was just making sure they know left and right. And this I was making sure that they know the days of the week. And then here, the place setting. With my older son, I want to go through the place setting as to how things are set up. And then we are learning the national anthem for the United States. So the Oh Say Can You See, actually I forget what it's called. So we have the types of triangles, equilateral, isosceles, and scalene. I also use this for testing. So I just want to tell you before I forget. So these are their tests, and the way I test them is, so they'll start at one point in the room. I've showed you before several times. I will show you again next time I do it. But they start, and then anytime they get a question right, they get to hop forward, and they love it. They love this. It's like it's a big game to them. And I put in some stuff that I know they know, and I put in some stuff I'm not sure if they know, and some stuff that I want them to know in their test. So for example, I would ask, how many sides does a triangle have, right? That's easy. But then how many sides does a pentagon have? Stuff like that, just to get it down. So all I did was, to make the test, is go through all the things that we're learning and just make sure it's covered. To find things to put in the book, if I don't have it from their lessons that they're learning, sometimes I use this as a substitute for lessons. So say we go to a robotics class, and we're at a robotics class, well then, while we're there, if she talks about some main points, I will come home and I will print up a sheet. Some of this stuff I got, most of this stuff is all free. Now it does take a while to track down and do. Like this I got off Canva, but I changed it a little bit. I added in a semicircle and a trapezoid. Okay, so, but again, it was free. Same with this. This was on, that we're studying, invertebrates and vertebrates and classifications and stuff. So we'll talk about it now. We can watch a video on it. These are some words. This was from the free, The Good and the Beautiful, the free thing. So I just wanted to see that he knows these words, and yeah, he does. We have dogs, so it's dog hair, it's great. There he is with our giant gate. So this is, of course, a map of the United States. And then this is the original 13 colonies. Just because, again, this is stuff we're talking about, that we're working on. How the Great Lakes formed, very interesting. It involved a glacier. But then also on the next page, so there is this, which is HOMES. I think they call it an acronym. HOMES, so that because, we're working on memorizing some stuff. We're talking about, we're studying Asia this week, so I just printed off some stuff on Asia. This stuff I got on Etsy. You pay for whatever, a small thing. And then he loves flags, so these are just some flags to memorize, as he probably knows them already. But I have a bunch of other stuff to show you that's super cool that we did do and that he already memorized. Once he memorizes it or knows it enough, then I pull it out and I put it in somewhere else. These are some monuments that are grand, and these are, like, did you know India invented the zero? I did not know that. And paper in China, I did not know that. So these are just some inventions, because we're talking, like I said, we're talking about Asia. So you can do it for, sometimes we have books that we read just for fun. We read, so if your child loves a subject and wants to deep dive in it, or say you want to do history and you don't want to do it at the curriculum, and you're like, hey, let's study, let's just go to the library and get books on whatever topic you want. When you're reading through those books, make a little note in your head like, hey, you know, there were this many pyramids, or the pyramids were this high, or this is where they're located, and print off a map or whatever. And then now I find it fun. I really do find it creative to go through the internet and search for some things and print it off. And one of the things I do is, so we can do this book, go through this whole book, and we're learning a ton of subjects, but it doesn't take up much time. So say there's a day that we're really busy, well, at least we covered the book. And it can be kind of considered a morning menu kind of thing, where we go through and we memorize that. But we're just reviewing it until it gets in the brain, right? Like, it's not like a steady, you have to learn this or whatever. And anything that interests them, well, then I can take stuff from that, from the books we've read, because we're studying dolphins right now, and I could put that in the little one's book. And this guy loves history. So if you don't have a curriculum, like I said, you can go through and do it. Or one of the things that I do is, because I want to make sure, even though I'm homeschooling, and even though I follow curriculum for some subjects, I want to make sure, what are they chewing? I want to make sure that we don't miss anything. So for example, I went on the last week and I looked up, okay, grade 1 math skills. And then it has a list, and it's like, okay, well, they need to know this, 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 and this, this. So if there's anything that I want to work on, like say, for example, you know, shapes and identifying shapes and different types of things like that, well, then I'll find some stuff printed off and put it in this book. And then it's also, I use dry erase markers instead of wet. So dry erase instead of wet, so they can color on it. Now the key to this, though, to make it cost effective, is A, don't pay for a lot of the stuff, but B, I mean, which does take you more time, but yet even when I have paid for websites or signed up for free trials, there's no website that has a compilation of every single thing to my satisfaction. Canva has a ton of free stuff, but I still have to edit it a little bit. So it does take time, so only do it if it really interests you, I guess. I find it enjoyable. As well, and not only that, but it's like a portfolio. Like, this is the portfolio of what we did all year. I can pilot in something else. Now, I would recommend, if you get a binder, before I show you the youngest binder, is that make sure that the back has a pocket in it, or the front has a pocket. Because, like, I would put their math in here that we're working on, because so we were using Math Mammoth, and it's very intensive. It's very good. Like, you'll have 2 pages on adding with 5, 2 pages on adding with 6, 2 pages on adding with 7. And so we wouldn't do every question. We would just go through and do a lot of it. And then I just noticed, especially for my one child that has ADHD, that, you know what, it was just taking forever, and he knew all this stuff anyway. He knew it. So what I did is I got the next year up for Math Mammoth, and I printed off the review of the first year that I had paid for, because we didn't even touch the second book. And we went through, and that's what we're going through. And yeah, he knows it all anyway, because it's pretty relatively basic stuff, addition, subtraction, but it does teach you a very thorough knowledge of it. Now, what I'm doing for the other one is I'm going through, and we're just doing a review. Again, I'm just doing a review, but I bought the Minimalism Math, and I bought it from Etsy, and it was only $8. And so it's 36 lessons for a whole year, but it's just 1 page per week. And what I really like about it, so I would just put this in their back pocket of their books, but I didn't buy books with pockets. That's the thing I regret. So write the number 11. And then if there's anything that we are not sure of, so again, this is just a review for us, so just ignore it, because we're just kind of having fun with it. But if there's anything that we didn't know, what I like is that we could look it up online. We could look it up online. So it may not be that thorough to teach it, but they're young enough that we could, again, look it up online. And if you decide, oh, you know what, I want to switch to another curriculum, yeah, well, almost every curriculum has a review in the beginning of the book anyway, and you could start there. But that's just my opinion. You know, do what you want. I'm still figuring it out. But let me show you some more cool forms. All right, so this is the youngest child. First thing I have is just because for the very first time ever, he actually took time and drew a picture of a robot. So I felt that was important to put in there. Here we got his favorite color, so he can mark off days of school. When we get to like 50, we will do something, because 100 seems like forever. We're never gonna get there. This, again, I want him to memorize and say those things. How are you feeling today? It's so important for feeling identification to let me know how you're feeling, and to sit down and take inventory, especially if you're an anxious child. Just to sit down and take inventory of your emotions, because if you're an anxious person, and you want to reset your kind of your nervous system, is to just take stock during the day. Like, how anxious am I? I'm a 5. Okay, well, I'm still okay. You know, and really just talk to yourself instead of distracting yourself away from your emotions, which is not going to make it go away. It's easier just to face them, and so to teach kids to face them. I had many years of study on this, so. Anyway, this is another, how can we solve your problem? Because I'm working on those skills. If you have a problem, how can we solve it? So let's take a minute to review some of these, and maybe we'll pick out a different one to talk about for 30 seconds that he gives me. These are from, I got 40% off sale at Gentle and Classical. And some of their stuff, whatever, I'm not going to get into it, but I really did like these. These are the manners cards. So I stay calm when I'm upset. So I have a stack of them here, and I just pick out 2 or 3 to review that day, right? I can do hard things. So then types of triangles. Now some stuff I put in, and I realize that it's pointless. Like, we have gone over this 75 times. I mean, it's not super important for them to know. I just thought it was cool to know. I just thought it was interesting, so that was just my personal thing. Left and right, just to make sure we know them. He asked the months the other day, so I'm going to put the months thing in here. Just again, most of the stuff, it's not like the kids don't know, but I just want to make sure that, hey, you grasp this stuff, right? Like, you get it. And now this is, the pages sticking together. So this is writing numbers, just so we have some basic number practice. This child practices different than this child. We have a lot of like neurodiverse things going on, but this is cool. This I just created in Canva. It's the number of the day. So I put a number in up there, and then we add 10 to it, 20 to it, 30 to it. Is this number even or odd? And then then we could put it in the center there, and we write, hey, what comes before and after? So isn't this fun? Like, don't you see how cool this is? I just think it's so neat, because watch what else I got in here specific to his interest, which shows him that I care. At least I hope it does. So we're matching numbers 1 to 5, like just to see, does he know what these words mean, kind of thing. Now this, because he is very interested in color combinations. So one of the test questions, for example, is down here, which, where is that kid, is, I don't know, something about, hey, if you mix 2 primaries together, what do you get? The answer is you get a secondary. And then I'll show you how I do testing, because I don't like penalization too much, so I don't want to make them feel too bad if they don't get it wrong, because it's okay to make mistakes, right? That's okay. It just means if you didn't make mistakes, then it's not hard enough. Anyway, so I just thought that was cool. Color mixing guide. This I did have to pay for, because I tried to find free stuff, and I did not find it, so I think I paid on Etsy for it. This is from, these are really interesting. Again, I waited for the 40% off sale from Gentle and Classical. They sent me a text about it. FYI, they text a little too much, but so I did buy a bunch of stuff that weekend, and one of them is these cards. They're 3-part cards, and this is the preschool level. They have a first grade, like they have the next level up, which would, for example, it would have more information here about this. And this, instead of shorebirds live at the shore and eat bugs, it would have like 3 different types of shorebirds. And then it's got another level on top of that. Since he likes the ocean, that's what we're going through. So I picked out like Flotsam. I don't know if that's, yeah, I guess that's Flotsam and Jetsam. I was saying it Floatsam and trying to decide, but now I know, no, it's Flotsam. Our trash from ships. A tide pool is a shallow pool of water. Stuff like that. Very interesting just to go through. And then fractions. I think I had to pay for this too on Etsy. But anyway, so I got a bunch of these, so I just picked out a couple to put in. I won't necessarily do the units for them, because it's just not an interest of ours, and I don't think it's necessary to his life education that he knows that much about the ocean if it doesn't interest him. Anyway, we got shapes again. Look at that. Heptagon, octagon. And then we got this. So just so we know, there's 97% of animals fall into invertebrates, and we got vertebrates. So dolphins would be vertebrates. So that's probably as in-depth as I would go at this particular time. Is there something in there? Yeah. Okay, so let me show you some other cool stuff here. So these are things that we have used, but that they've, kind of memorized it, they got it. So this was just matching the fractions. That was free at K5 Learning. So just, again, they were interested in fractions, so I was like, okay, let me pull up some fraction stuff. This I wanted to just make sure that they understood it. That's another K5 Learning. You just put in grade 1 or grade 2. This is what we're going to do in the future for my avid reader, just to make sure, I mean, he can read a bunch of stuff, but I just want to make sure we go through this, Yeah, in fact, there was another thing in here I think I forgot to show you, which was from The Good and the Beautiful. It had cane, can, fine and fin, stuff like that with an E on it. So that's what we're going to do. And then this is, I'm huge into vocabulary. I love vocabulary. These are the words we're going to cover: abolish, ambition. And then what it does is, so again, I just printed off some of it because I didn't need the whole thing. Because they know what synonyms and antonyms are. Antonyms are opposites, and synonyms, it kind of means the same. So it can be hard to adjust to life in another country, to adapt. Okay, so anyway, so that's what we're going to be talking about. We got use the clues. So I just printed off a couple pages from this, which is, I want to say it's like 500 words every kindergartner needs to know, and you can get it on Etsy for $1. Something like that. This is the petition to abolish cat food. My son likes cats. Now, these are something else that we did. Where's the front of it? Anyway, it was without this. And then I just asked him, is this a synonym or an antonym? And we went through it. Just so they could get it. And this I wrote out so that he could read it because he's interested in the Queen Mary. There's one of those things again. Sometimes I only print off one. Yeah, the key to this that I was mentioning before is that you need a good printer. I have an Epson 2800. It costs $200, so it's a few years old, but $200 new, and it's $40 every time you fill up an ink, but you could print 7,800 pages of color on that $40 of ink. So, and then it's $10 a bottle. That's for 4 bottles every time you fill it up. So I print now to my heart's content. Before this, I used to always buy things because printing was so much money. Okay, so get back to this. We got synonyms. So when they first started, I started with synonyms. The blank is large. This was also free. Just search synonyms. Nothing on the back of that. This, getting into times tables because the young one really likes timetables. So I think he wanted just the 12s, so I'm going to print out a big 12s for him. Again, this is just the addition of the fractions over here. Just did some fractions work. That plus that equals that. So sometimes if they don't fill it in, it's because they're telling it to me. Just because handwriting is not super trained. These are super pretty. I got them off of Etsy, but my son already knows. The older one loves geography and history and monuments. So these are just really pretty monuments. It's funny because I go, I think that one's in Spain. And he's like, no, it's in Mexico. Or he knew exactly where it was. And I was like, oh, okay. That happens quite often with geography. Anything with geography. There's the number thing. That wasn't a big hit with the older one. So I was just like, screw it. I didn't want to deal with it. I don't like to deal with too much drama. Because we get through a decent amount. So there's some more. This was free, K5 Learning, United States blank map. Because I thought eventually we would start to fill in the names, the abbreviations, whatever it felt like. United States, there's abbreviations. The original 13 colonies. This is addition that we used to use, and then addition plus 1. So doubles plus 1. It's teaching them basically that this is like a friendly number. These are friendly numbers. So when you get a 2 plus 3, you do friendly numbers plus add 1. And there it is on the back, I guess. So this is more of the gentle and classical. I bought all their manners cards and their Christian cards and stuff like that. I choose small bites of food. I help with chores. So I think they're pretty cool. This was free. This was not a big hit, so I just left it. But we usually like challenges and puzzles, the older one. But here, the Titanic, and it just wasn't a big hit, even though he loves the Titanic. So I was like, okay. This, again, synonyms. This is one of their first synonym thing. Which sounds the same? The Lord's Prayer, another one. The little one was just not sitting there even digesting it. So I was like, all right. Save it for when he's older. And here is more of the other things. And then, I bought from Etsy too. The organs match activity. And now the only problem is I wouldn't recommend this, not because it's not, it's all right. It's just that it doesn't tell me the answers. And I need to know it. Like I don't have enough confidence in my bodily knowledge to be like, oh yes, that does filter blood. I think it's the heart, but really, I don't know. So I just wish, but in a lot of their stuff, I noticed that I did buy this from on Etsy. There's the store, which is, it doesn't even say it on here, and I can't remember which store it is. But I wish they had answers, because I'm sorry, I know. I should be quicker. Well, I'm going to shit all over myself, that's for sure. Can you say, please like and subscribe?
Please like to like.
And hit the bell for notifications.
Hit the bell for notifications.